Hello and welcome back to Nature Tech Family. In this episode of Enter the World, we'll be sharing some very interesting facts and behaviors of the coyote. Seeing a coyote is now a common occurrence for many Americans. Our family has been able to photograph, record, and track coyotes in many U.S. states and environments. Until recently, it hadn't been so easy to see coyotes across the entire United States. This brings us to fact number 1. The Coyote's territory is still expanding, even into Panama. When Europeans first arrived in America, the coyote roamed mostly in the western parts of the United States. However, as the forest disappeared across the continent, and coyote's main enemies, the cougar and the wolf, were hunted almost to extinction, a perfect opportunity was created for the coyotes to increase their range. Now that the majority of the large predators have been removed from the lower 48 states, coyotes have moved in and adapted to all kinds of environments. They are so adaptable that they are found in every state of the U.S. except Hawaii, and are now living in most large U.S. cities. They are also found past the southern border of Mexico, and even have been spotted by photo traps as far south as Panama, where there are now coy dogs. It will be interesting to see if they can adapt enough to live and expand their range into the dense rainforests of South America. Number 2. All modern wolves in America have some coyote genes in them. This is according to a genome ancestry test conducted on wolves in 2016. For example, wolves in both Alaska and Yellowstone were found to have 8% to 8.5% coyote ancestry. The Great Lakes wolves that were sampled had over 20% coyote ancestry, and the Algonquin area wolves that were tested showed around 35% coyote ancestry. The question then becomes, what would explain this? Although coyotes and wolves prefer to pick mates from their own species, when early Americans were attempting to exterminate the wolves through hunting, trapping, and poisoning, at times there was no other choice for the few wolves that did survive, except to mate with coyotes. This led to the crossbreeding that in turn led to the coyote's genes being found in wolves that were tested in 2016. It's also because of this reason that the wolves from the northeastern America had a higher percentage of coyote genes, because the Northeast was the first area to see wolves nearly eradicated, and coyotes moved in to fill that niche pretty quickly. Number 3. Coyotes have a fusion-fission social structure. Coyotes have proven over the years that the same techniques that worked for killing off the wolves in America will not work for coyotes. Instead, one social structure like wolves usually have, where only the alpha pair of a pack will mate, coyotes have adapted to what is called a fusion-fission lifestyle. If there was enough food in a given area, they will form large packs and live together, which is called a fusion social structure. On the other hand, if the food runs out and they are heavily hunted, members of the pack have no problem adapting by spreading out to different areas. This is called the fission-type social structure, where they'll disperse and spread out throughout the landscape into much smaller packs, usually forming their own family units or even just mating pairs. In other words, if coyotes are hunted out of one area, they will most likely use this opportunity and increase their population somewhere else. This can be seen by the fact that we as humans hunt, trap, and poison over, on average, 1,000 coyotes a day. But, or more likely because of this, coyote populations are actually on the rise. Number 4. Coyotes naturally and instinctively regulate their own population. In addition to using more than just one style of social structure, they naturally adapt their population to the local environment. Let's say one of these smaller packs finds an abundance of food. In that case, the litter size will increase on its own, including up to 12 pups in a single litter. The coyote's population being naturally regulated is significant, and we're not just talking about the pup's mortality rate. The coyote's litter size actually grows larger or shrinks smaller based on available resources. In fact, it's been recorded and shown in models and field studies that coyotes' litter sizes double, or almost double, when over 50% of coyotes are killed off in a given area. This is likely because there's now more food in an area, and it certainly shows just how resilient the coyote is under pressure, and why they're here to stay. Number 5. Coyotes are very loyal to their mates. Ohio State University genetically sampled 236 coyotes in the Chicago area over 6 years, and they found no evidence of any of the coyotes having more than one mating partner. Instead, they found throughout the study that the coyotes mated for life and only took a new partner if one of them died. This confirms another study from 2012 that was published in the Journal of Mammalogy. They found the same evidence of loyalty to partners, even when the food became less abundant and more potential mates were in the area. This also explains why coyotes can be so successful against human attempts to eradicate them or reduce their numbers. You see, the main reason coyotes can even hope to successfully raise a large litter of pups is because both parents are working together to provide for and protect the young. One female coyote would not have the time and energy to find enough food for herself and be around for the pups to nurse them and protect them from danger. So once the pups are no longer completely dependent on their mother's milk, the male and female take turns hunting and watching over the pups. And if there are other family members around, such as older brothers and sisters from the previous year's litter, they will also help with raising the pups. Loyalty amongst the parents gives a large litter of pups the best possible chance to survive, and is another of the reasons that the coyote has continued to flourish and continues to expand its range. We hope you enjoyed this episode from Nature Tech Family, and please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have an interesting fact about coyotes, please leave it in the comments section.